Let's start with a big idea. In the 21st century, your ideas are everything. They're the new currency. But here's the catch. Even a world-changing idea is completely worthless if you can't get anyone to actually listen to it.
This is the central theme from Carmine Gallo's fantastic book, Talk Like TED. And it points to a huge problem, right? Think about how many brilliant concepts, businesses, or movements just fizzle out. Why? Because they weren't presented in a way that truly inspires people. Your ideas deserve so much more than that.
So what is it? What's the secret sauce for a presentation that can actually change the world? Well, after looking at hundreds of the most successful TED Talks, the ones that launched movements and raised millions, it turns out there is a formula. And today, we're going to break it down.
It really all boils down to these three pillars. Every single unforgettable talk connects with you on an emotional level, it teaches you something new and surprising, and it presents ideas in a way that you'll just never forget. They build on each other, and it all has to start with emotion.
Here's the thing. Before you can ever hope to reach someone's mind with facts and figures, you've got to connect with their heart first. The best communicators on the planet know this. Real persuasion happens when you build that emotional bridge, and they do it with two main tools: passion and storytelling.
Just look at the civil rights attorney Bryan Stevenson. His TED Talk didn't just get a standing ovation. It got the longest one in TED history, and it helped raise over $1 million for his nonprofit. His secret? A whopping 65% of his entire talk was just pure storytelling. He proved that stories are the most powerful way to break down any wall.
And what's wild is that there's actual science behind this. Neuroscientists at Princeton discovered this thing called brain-to-brain coupling. When you tell a great story, the listener's brain activity literally starts to sync up with yours. You are, for all intents and purposes, planting your ideas and your emotions directly into their head. It's like a real-life mind meld.
Okay, so once you've made that connection to the heart, it's time to light up the mind. Our brains are absolute suckers for anything new. It's just how we're wired. A fresh idea or a totally different take on an old problem, it jolts us awake and makes us pay attention. And the best speakers, they know exactly how to leverage this.
For instance, let's go back to 2009. Bill Gates is giving a talk about how urgently we need to wipe out malaria. Now, he could have just thrown a bunch of charts and statistics at the audience, but he knew he needed a moment that no one could possibly forget.
This is what Gallo calls a jaw-dropping moment. Gates paused his talk, held up a jar, and said, "Malaria is spread by mosquitoes. I brought some. I'll let them roam around. There's no reason only poor people should have the experience." And then he opened the jar. Now, don't worry, the mosquitoes weren't infectious, but that one shocking moment created an emotional anchor for his message that I guarantee no one in that room has ever forgotten.
Novelty can also come from a dose of humor. But listen, we're not talking about telling cheesy, rehearsed jokes here. The most viewed TED Talk of all time is by Sir Ken Robinson, and it's absolutely hilarious. But he doesn't tell a single joke. Instead, he uses these clever personal stories and witty observations. That kind of humor drops the audience's guard, it makes you more likable, and it makes your message so much easier to swallow.
All right, so you've connected with their heart and you've surprised their brain. But what's the point if nobody remembers any of it the next day? That brings us to our final, crucial pillar, making your ideas memorable. How do you make your message actually stick?
Well, it starts with a surprisingly simple but powerful rule that TED enforces like law, the 18-minute rule. Why 18 minutes? Because it's just long enough to say something meaningful, but it's short enough to hold almost anyone's full, undivided attention. It forces you to be disciplined and crystal clear.
And that 18-minute rule isn't just some random number. It's based on how our brains work. Listening is surprisingly hard work for the brain. If you just bombard an audience with too much information, you create what scientists call cognitive backlog. It's like a mental traffic jam. Their brains get tired and literally just stop storing new information. 18 minutes is the sweet spot.
Next, to make something really memorable, you've got to create an experience for more than just the ears. Because our vision is our super sense. I mean, just look at this difference. If people only hear information, they'll remember maybe 10% of it 3 days later. But if you add a powerful visual, that recall number skyrockets to 65%. That's the picture superiority effect.
And it's exactly why the right slides can ignite a movement. And finally, maybe the biggest secret to being memorable is just authenticity. You can learn all these tricks, but at the end of the day, you can't be someone you're not. The speakers who really move us aren't trying to be Steve Jobs or anyone else. They are just 100% themselves, passionate in their own unique way. You've got to find your lane, and you've got to own it.
So there you have it. That's the framework. And now it's your turn to put all this to work. You have the tools to make your own ideas sing. So let's lock them in with a super quick recap of that secret formula.
1. Be emotional. Connect with the heart through your own passion and great stories. 2. Be novel. Surprise the mind with new information in those jaw-dropping moments. And 3. Be memorable. Make it all stick by keeping it short and making it incredibly visual.
You know, the billionaire investor Warren Buffett used to be terrified of public speaking, but he knew he had to get over it. He says that if you can't get your ideas across to other people, you are literally giving up your own potential. The stakes really are that high.
Your ideas, they have the power to change things, to inspire people, to move the world forward just a little bit. They absolutely deserve to be heard. And now you have the tools to make sure they are. So the only real question left is, what will you say?